Basically, he just turned his bionic arm into a colossal plasma cannon. The kind of weapon that looks like it was built to argue with God. The thing fired a beam so hot it could vaporize titanium on contact. But here's where it gets truly unhinged. When the plasma hit you, it didn't just blast a hole through your chest, it ripped open the fabric of reality and summoned a 60-centimeter wide black hole. Don't even ask how that's possible. At that size, it's already breaking every law of physics and common sense. You, of course, got instantly sucked in. No screams, no final words, just an express ticket to non-existence. And honestly, I can't even imagine how painful the spaghettification was. Being stretched thinner than dental floss by a micro black hole, that's beyond pain. That's cosmic pasta. Still, look on the bright side. At least you went out scientifically fascinating. So he just pulled out this gigantic laser cannon and aimed it straight at you. One so overpowered it burned a perfect smoking hole right through your chest, the size of a coin. The blast impact was so strong it launched you a full 120 meters away. Yes, you heard that right. Itamiayanio world record. Yes. You heard that right. A new world record. 120 meters in just 2.2 seconds. Someone call Guinness, or maybe a coroner. Unfortunately, traveling that fast without a seatbelt comes with side effects, like instant brain shearing from catastrophic, explosive air drag trauma. At that point, your nervous system probably filed for retirement mid-flight. And honestly, describing your injuries after you hit the ground would be redundant, because, spoiler alert, you were already more physics experiment than human halfway through the air.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg.
So this giant transformer decided to forge a sword entirely out of electricity. A weapon so absurdly charged, it somehow stayed solid enough to crack the ground when he swung it. The shockwave alone would have fractured every nearby window and your hope of survival. Then, in the most disrespectful physics violation possible, the blade unsheathed itself out of the floor like an electric guillotine, slicing upward and launching you 30 meters into the air in a perfect backward spiral. While you were still airborne, he jumped after you. Of course he did. And drove that lightning blade straight through your chest, the point exiting clean through your back mid-air. At that moment, your ribcage was basically converted into a barbecue grill. Your lungs collapsed and your heart likely stopped for moral reasons. But gravity had no chill. He started falling, still holding you skewered on the sword like some cursed kebab. As both of you plummeted, he had the nerve to re-angle the sword downward, driving it into the ground while you were still attached. The impact shattered the floor into debris and dragged your body across it like a malfunctioning lawnmower, skin tearing, bones scraping, and enough friction burns to qualify as spontaneous combustion. Then, with a final yank, he unplugged you from the sword so violently the momentum launched you 50 meters straight up again before gravity reminded you who's boss. When you finally hit the ground, well, let's just say every bone in your body submitted its resignation letter.
Every warrior dreams of peace, until life reminds them peace was never theirs. Even the strongest warrior can't strike back at fate. May you rest well, warrior.
So he went full precision mode, slicing through your abdomen and chest in a single slash so clean it looked like not even a second passed. But before you could even react, he teleported above you, knife already lined up like a surgeon who skipped anesthesia. Then, with perfect aim, he plunged the blade straight into your chest, piercing right through your heart, specifically the left ventricle, and then turning your blood pressure into a fond memory. You started bleeding out faster than the ambulance's reaction time. But here's the truly cruel part. You didn't pass out. Nope, you stayed fully conscious for the entire thing. Why? Because this move, unlike the others, didn't fry your brain or knock you unconscious. It just hurt. Every heartbeat pumped out more blood and more regret, while your pain receptors did over time, reporting every nerve-ending emergency in glorious HD. Medically speaking, you were basically a sentient biology lesson in why adrenaline isn't a painkiller. So he started off by stabbing you right in the abdomen, dead center. And then, because mercy is apparently illegal, he dragged you backward across the floor while you were still impaled on the knife. Every inch of that movement turned your internal organs into a smoothie. Your intestines tore, your stomach shredded, and your diaphragm was probably filing a lawsuit. You're screaming in pain, of course. It's practically the only thing your lungs are still capable of doing. But wait, there's more. He finally yanked the knife out, launching you into a 5-meter backward spiral with a perfect curved trajectory like some tragic Olympic event. Just when you thought it was over and you could finally die in peace, physics betrayed you again. His own sliding momentum kept carrying him across the floor, and he caught up with you. Without hesitation, he swapped the knife for a katana, because apparently variety counts as personality, and slashed you clean across the torso. Miraculously, you weren't cut in half, only because he missed part of your spine. Congratulations, you're still in one piece. Technically, you barely had time to process that before he spawned 3 clones. And, as expected, they all decided to jump you like you owed them rent. For a full 5.4 seconds, it was a group project of slashing, stabbing, and general disrespect, until one of them delivered a final katana strike, so powerful it flung you backward 13 meters, straight through the floor itself. Congratulations, you've officially become an archaeological discovery.
Pathetic.
There's really not much to say. That slam would snap your spine clean. Depending on where it broke, you'd be paralyzed from the neck or waist down. Basically instant full-body Wi-Fi disconnection. He gripped his katana and moved so fast, the air itself gave up trying to keep up. You didn't even see the slashes. You just felt reality glitch. 4 clean cuts, done before your brain could process the first one, because the move was literally done in plank time. It was like Virgil's judgment cut, except less stylish for you, since you're the one getting dissected. By the time you blinked, it had already happened. Your screen might as well say already dead. Each slash was perfectly placed too. 1 across your carotid artery, 1 through your diaphragm, 1 piercing your liver, and 1 right through your femoral artery. That's not a combo. That's a medical resignation letter. Coincidence? Absolutely not. He aimed for every vital zone like he was speed running human biology. By the time gravity remembers you exist, your body's already trying to figure out which organ failed first.
You fool.
He suddenly slowed down time like he was Kronos himself, casually breaking the laws of physics just to make you his personal stress ball. For the next 4 seconds of slowed reality, which for you felt like 4 hours of regret, he delivered a barrage of kicks that turned your ribs into percussion instruments. Each impact compressed your lungs, fractured a few bones, and probably gave your internal organs motion sickness. Then came the finale, a perfectly timed back kick straight to your chest that launched you rolling across the floor for 5 meters like a dying tumbleweed. Realistically, that one kick alone would have shattered your sternum, bruised both lungs, and knocked out every molecule of oxygen your body had in storage. On the bright side, at least you didn't have to experience the rest of time resuming. You were already halfway into the afterlife buffering screen. suddenly start spinning in circles and screaming like a complete idiot. The kind of rage only seen in people who just got beaten down to a pulp, but they see red and want revenge. He charges straight at you and slams into your abdomen hard enough to make your digestive system uninstall itself. Then, because reality isn't broken enough, he slows down time and unleashes a full combo, punching and kicking every square inch of your anatomy like he's trying to unlock a secret achievement. You're basically a rag doll with a subscription to pain at this point. Finally, he ends it with a punch to the face so violent that the game itself flexes, cutting to an X-ray showing your skull actually fracturing for real this time, not those baby cracks from earlier. That single hit launches you 52 meters through the air. Congratulations, you're now both airborne and clinically deceased. From what it looks like, he just really needed some personal space. Because out of nowhere, he spreads his arms like he's parting the seas and summons a shockwave that sends you flying 7 meters into the air. Unfortunately for you, gravity had no sympathy, and you landed directly on the top of your skull. At that point, there's not much left to explain. You don't need a doctor to tell you what happened. The skull's not exactly built to tank a vertical impact at terminal cringe velocity. Between the cervical spine compression and the brain turning into a short-lived smoothie, the only real question left is philosophical. Were you dead before you hit the ground or just after? Either way, mystery solved. You are dead. I can only imagine the sheer agony you're in right now. 12 consecutive hits from a 2-section stab. Each one hurts no matter where it lands. A solid 7 out of 10 on the pain scale, easily. But that 12th strike, that one sent you flying 10 meters backward and landed squarely on the most fragile, You done crying yet? So as I was saying, half of those hits smacked causing massive internal bleeding and likely puncturing a lung or two. A few other...
You stupid n***!
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
No more game.